What's up, you guys, and welcome to I Refine Movement. I'm Robbie, that's Travis, and on today's episode, we discuss upgrades leading into more issues, an FRS with a Ferrari engine swap, and we discuss your comments from our YouTube videos. So Trav, did you have a good week getting your EK ready for our August 26th track day?
I sure did. I just got the rear suspension back together, drove it around yesterday, so all I really needed is alignment, and I'll be good to go.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm getting my car ready too. August 26th, you guys. That's our track day coming up at the firm. Videos to follow. Let's get into our first topic. Upgrades leading into more issues. Trav, you know all about that, right?
Modifying cars is always a problematic endeavor. You know, a lot of guys think, oh, I'm just going to buy this one part and slap it on and it's going to go great. And that's never, ever, ever the case.
No.
So when you modify a car, something else comes up after the car has changed. You know, a big common occurrence is doing coilovers. I want my car to be low. I'm going to get some coilovers for $500 and slam it to the ground. Great. That will work. But on our cars, on 90s, Hondas, what happens is in the rear, the camber goes crazy. I'd say probably at least negative 2.5, 3 degrees of camber right away. And you're going to ruin your tires in 1,000 miles. So if you're daily driving that, that's not practical. Even if you want to slam it, that's totally cool, but you got to get camber kits. So that's that. Coilovers, then camber kits. So that alone in itself is an extra expense and it's more work, So it's never as easy as everyone thinks it is. I ran into this problem when I did my intake manifold swap on my D16 Y7 and I went to the Y8 manifold because it's a more traditional manifold that's better for the car to breathe and better for racing in general opinion, because the Y7 manifold was more for economy. So I switched over to that, but a lot of things had to change. It wasn't just, oh, I'll throw the manifold on and it'll be good to go, I had to, get a different throttle body. Throttle cable had to be different. I had to adjust that. The spring and rotor on the throttle cable had to be changed. I needed a specific kind of intake manifold gasket.
Right.
It was all these different things.
And when you first bought it, you didn't totally realize all those things, right? That came up
exactly
as you were working on it.
Right. Even I followed tutorials online about how to do it, and little things are always left out. When you follow these guys on the forums and they tell you, oh, this is step by step,
no, maybe they missed
that with a grain of salt. They missed a step, listing it or whatever, or they're like, that's not important, I don't need to include it. But some things need to be done. This manifold gasket doesn't work, and the whole car won't run without that. And that's a little tiny slip of paper with some holes
literally
in it, basically.
Right. And I remember how big of an ordeal that was. You were working on that for a couple weekends at least, and primarily because you're waiting for parts.
Waiting for parts, and that was at least a month because the car was running really strange after I did it. I was like,
I remember that. That was right before our first track day.
I had to problem solve right under the gun, trying to get the car to run right. And so it's things like that. It's never going to be quite as simple as everyone thinks it's going to be.
So I can speak to this a little bit, with the EG. It's kind of just comes down to, I've just done wheels and tires as my really first major upgrade, and not counting the transmission, but actually I could speak to that as well. So wheels and tires, I slap them on, awesome. They look great. The car instantly pulls to the left. So I got to go get an alignment. That's more money right there. That's more work. I'm not doing the alignment myself. I'm going to bring it somewhere just like you are, Trav. But so that leads to more issues, more work. Same thing with the transmission. When I pulled that out, I went to put it back in. Oh, hey, flywheel is not that great from before. I better change that out. The clutch, I better change that to a different clutch. It's just these things where you have it in your head as this is going to be so easy. I've got it all mapped out. And then when you actually go to do it, you're like, oh, wait. I need to put more money into this because I need to buy X part, this part, things you didn't expect, but also more work.
Right. And I want to speak to that to the YouTube audience because everybody always seems like they're screaming at us to just do this.
Right.
It'll be good. But the money involved is never what it seems. You know, there's shipping on these parts. There's extra parts that need to be bought. There's extra time that you have to put into it. And maybe you need to take it to a shop afterwards, you know, for an alignment or for something that you can't do. So
It's true.
There's always something, you know, and like a good example on your transmission, when we took that off and we were trying to put the, you know, the flywheel and the clutch back on, we broke one of those bolts off.
Right. So that led to the new flywheel, and I wasn't planning on that.
Right. And it's, I mean, when you're a novice like we are, you know, and we're beginners at these things, shit happens. So you're going to have to go buy new parts because you broke it or whatever. And that's always more money down the drain. So it's good to keep in mind that these things aren't always just the price tag you see on, you know, your favorite site or eBay or whatever.
That's a very good point, man. That's the initial buy rate. And then you got to figure, what all do I need to install this? It could even be as simple as, you know, getting greases or little bolts or whatever parts, you know, but it adds up, man. And yeah, it's not as simple as just go find this or just go buy this. Well, it's time or money always. And until you actually get in there and start to do it yourself, you know, you can't just be a keyboard warrior and say, hey, do this. It's so easy. Well, maybe sometimes it works out that way. Most of the time, in our experience, there's always another step. So getting into the next segment, this car is crazy, and it has been all over Instagram, all over the internet, and recently this past week they've been doing more. So for an FRS with a 458 Ferrari engine swap. What the hell? It's so crazy. Who saw this coming? You know, it was a very big story when it first was coming out. I remember reading it on Speed Hunters, and you started to see the build thread on Instagram, and so the car has been built. It's been done for a while. But this past week, they actually went and did a dyno tune and got some new numbers on this thing. 566 wheel horsepower with a 70 shot of nitrous on this naturally aspirated Ferrari 458 engine in this FRS. Two worlds collide, guys. I mean, this is insane. I mean, just the level of fabrication and all that had to go into this build. It's just, it's just on a different world, you know. What we were just talking about, like, oh, I just broke a bolt in my flywheel. I better go get a new flywheel. These guys gotta make a flywheel for this thing. Like, it's a totally different. It's just a different thing. This is fabrication. Mm-hmm. But so this is a drift machine, and it's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. And I mean, just look at it. All the work that has gone into this. You could just look at the front wheels and tell this is a drift machine. Just the way they're staggered out and cambered in the way they are, and rear wheels are inset a little bit more. But so for me, it's amazing. It's crazy. I think it's awesome. And part of me is almost a little disappointed. Like, it's so crazy that I almost wish this was like a time attack car or something. Like, I would want to see this car set up and fitted to go pound out some laps at a circuit and like compete at World Time Attack or something. Like, I don't even know if they have a class for this kind of car, but I just think that would be so cool. And like, it's a drift car, you know, I get it. They just want it to be crazy, but in a way, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I feel like, you know, I think if they wanted it to be a time attack car, why not just use a 458? Because that car is so built, I think, for really serious racing. Because, you know, they even have a racing series where all these cars do that. You know, so I think I think with this, if they had gone that route, it may have been even harder for them to get the car to be that precise.
Like illegal or something.
Yeah, and even precise for racing, you know. And I think with drifting and for, you know, Ryan, who put this car together, he's a professional drifter, you know, this is what this car screams. It's all about being crazy. You know,
Crazy.
70 shot of nitrous. That's just in a Ferrari engine. It's so crazy.
Right. That's already tuned.
Yeah, and it's already in a Toyota. Like, it's just so crazy.
What?
So I think that's
I guess
that's what drifting is all about. It's about showmanship and pushing the envelope of that craziness. So I think that's really what this car is all about.
I agree with you, man. I do. Like, at the end of the day, I totally agree with you. Like, I would love to see, you know, in my own head what this thing could be, time attack, all that kind of stuff. But I get it, and you're totally right. Like, with drifting, it's all about, hey, look at me. And it's all about these Frankenstein builds, and let's shoehorn crazy engines into cars you would never expect. And
this is it. This is it. I mean, because drifting isn't our thing, but I do respect it. But when this build came up, it took me by surprise. I was like, I want to follow these guys just so I can see this car come together.
And I think all of Instagram has. I mean, come on, who has not seen this car?
Right.
Like, this is everywhere, and for good reason.
You look at these pictures too. I mean, the one with them dyno tuning it and shooting flames out the bumper. Like,
yeah. Have you guys seen this thing? Like, it's just shooting flames, and oh my god, and out the front bumper.
It's so crazy. I love it. It's awesome.
It is, yeah. So definitely follow this car if you guys haven't already. Check on Instagram. Just type in FRS with Ferrari 458 engine. You'll have plenty of information come up with it. Alright, you guys, so that brings us on to the last segment. Questions and comments on our YouTube videos that you guys ask us. We love your questions. We love the comments, most of them. And we want to always respond. We want to be engaged with you guys. So, Trav, what's the first question?
First question is from your latest video where you fit your 949s to your EG. It comes from Riot68. He says, looking good. Do you have the full recommended alignment settings? So
Trav, I'm actually going to throw that one to you.
Okay.
Because you're the one going to get those alignment settings here really quick, right?
Right. So since my car's already got coilovers and all the camber goodies and all that stuff, because I can actually adjust camber, Rob can't do camber yet.
I'm so cool. I'm Trav.
So yeah, I'm gonna actually try to get some legitimate race settings because I've been just doing the camber by my eye, and I want to kind of get a shop to do it for real. So Speed Academy, I don't know if you guys have seen their videos on YouTube. They have a lot of experience with racing 90s Hondas like Integras and Civics. So they have a lot of experience in road racing. So they have really good specs for the alignment. Rob put a link up on one of the comments, and they have their alignment as negative 2.75 up front, and then for the camber, and negative 1.75 for the rear for the camber. So that's gonna, make the tires come in like this. So that's going to, in the turns, when the wheel turns, it's gonna plant the full width of the tire to the ground, so you have more traction in the corners.
Right. Just to chime in here real quick, I did see some of the comments, or one of the comments, the guy actually said he was under the impression that less front camber is better. And, we addressed that in the comments, but just to, clear that up here, for front wheel drive specifically, more camber up front than in the rear is preferred because it does initiate that turn in a lot better. And like what Trav was just saying, when you're in those turns, the tire is actually going to lean over. So when it's negative cambered, when you're just sitting there still, that's fine. You're going into a turn, the tire starts to lean over more onto the middle section and the outer shoulder, as it should.
Right. And I think with our cars being front wheel drive, that helps put the power down.
Right. Everything happens at the front wheels.
Right. So, and then Speed Academy also recommends having some toe out, toe settings where they're toe out on the front and the rear. They have 1/16 toe out on the front and the rear. So I think that's what I'm going to run with and see how that goes. I have all the equipment to do it. I want to just, these guys know, I have no idea. So I think it's going to have, It's going to help me have the car hook up to the road better and go fast.
It's a good starting point. You know, maybe this seems like it's a very commonly accepted set of parameters for a front-wheel drive car setup, and hopefully you love it. I really hope you love it, Trav. Like, I'm so curious to hear what you're going to be saying about these settings, and maybe you want to make some changes. Like, maybe, oh, it turns in a little too quick for me, or maybe it's not quick enough. Like, you can form your own opinion, but having these as a set guide to start with is great. And if Speed Academy is recommending it, then you all should check them out too. Check out their settings. If you go into autocross, track racing, that kind of stuff, like, look into this. And, you know, suspension is everything, man, when you're first getting going out there and learning your car. So we're going to move on. There's another question on one of my recent videos. DC2 says the suspension definitely needs an upgrade, and he suggests maybe sway bar before coilovers. He specifically said like a 14 millimeter bar from an Integra. And that really got me thinking, because, like, yeah, obviously I want to get into the coilovers. You know, I've got my wheels and tires on there, and when I'm doing my turns, like, the car feels so much better initially, but about mid-turn, I still can feel that sloppiness of the suspension and the bounciness coming into play. And yeah, it throws off your confidence a little bit. And so, of course, I want to get into coilovers because that will immediately correct that. But a much less expensive option, and one that could happen even a lot sooner, and I just didn't think about before, is what about putting just that rear sway bar on the car? What do you think, Trev?
I definitely think if you wanted to put off, or if you had to put off coilovers for a little bit and you wanted the car to be more responsive, I think sway bars would be good. I would think doing both would be a better recommendation, because you may, I don't know, get a little bit more rear end kick out if you do just the back, because you're on stock suspension. I think it may want to rotate too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how that would go, because the car is inherently understeery.
That's true.
And a 14 millimeter sway bar isn't that thick.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. I would be curious to put that on. Like, just the rear bar. See how that goes. And yeah, then maybe get into the front bar as well. I definitely am getting coilovers, and I want them sooner than later, of course. What I wouldn't want to do, I think, is select my sway bars first, like how you have on your car. You have the 26 up front and the 24 in the rear, right?
I think it's opposite.
Or 24 and 26?
It's more in the back than the front. I think it's 22 up front and 24 in the rear.
Okay. So those are very stiff settings, and that's great. Like, I just don't have the coilovers yet, so I don't think I would want to go that hard into it right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably better to do the coilovers first, because ultimately you're going to run the car for a long time on coilovers rather than stock stuff. So you would probably have to change your settings on the sway bars completely once you do that.
Yeah, I totally agree. But so maybe for a quick fix, DC2, maybe you're onto something. Doing just that rear sway bar from an Integra, that sounds really cool. And I really appreciate the suggestion, man. And who knows, you know, I might be junkyard hunting here soon. All right, you guys, so that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for watching episode 2 of iRefine Movement. We're trying to get this show coming out on Thursdays. What do you think? Let us know. Really sincerely hope you enjoy it. We love bringing content to you guys, and we're very thankful for you to be following and watching us. Please buy our stickers. We have a link below in the comments section. There's some stickers for sale. $6 shipped anywhere. You can purchase them through our website. We ship them out the next day for you. And also, please comment, like, subscribe on all of our videos. It really helps us, you guys. Like, it really does. It helps us to bring more content to you. And that's what we want to keep doing. So please, the more you support us, the more we can bring to you. So thank you all for watching. I'm Robbie. That's Travis.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you in the next episode.